어우 깜짝이야. 이렇게 낚아채 갈 줄은 몰랐어. 제가 불렀거든요. 아니 첫 번째 비행 서브캐 하나 남았길래 그거 하려고 불렀는데 몸 때리고 있다가 애워지. 왜냐면 어디였죠? 바닷가 동네? 거기에서는 H 없으면 안 오길래 여기도 안 오리라 생각하고 다른 쪽으로 가려다가 얘가 여기서 이렇게 낚아채네. 진짜 너무 놀랬다. 여기라고? 그러면 일단 스캔 여기 내리면 되나? 올라갈 수가 없었거든요. 내려봐. 그린 샤인? 나 내릴게 친구야. 웨이. 잠깐만. 뭐 있는 것 같은데요? 평판 대박이죠? 아니 여기 저기 있는 것 같은데 아닌가? 일단 여기 혼자 까주시고 그 다음 여기 뭐 있어? 안으로 들어가야 되는 건가? 보라색이 있긴 한데 좀 위치에는 없거든요? 좀 뭔데? 내가 먹은 평판 아니? 혼자랑은 별개. 더 올라가야 되는 건가? 더 올라가면 들어가는 입구 같은 게 있나? 아니야, 여기 있어. 원? 뭐 온다. 뭐 온다. 우리 친구. 미친 스톤버드라고? 싸우지 마. 저쪽 홀 어디 갔어 스톤버드? 나 최상의 스톤버드 필요하긴 하거든요. 저기 왔다. 싸우지 마. 야, 너 그거냐? 플라즈마 맞네. 플라즈마랑 산성이거든. 어이. 이게 센 거야. 어디 갔어? 같은 새라고 모른 척 하긴 한다잉. 저 친구 좀 보냈으면 좋겠는데? 근데 이쪽 가까이 오면 하자. 친구야. 널 안 다치게 하려면 내가 이쪽에 보는 거 맞는 거 같긴 한데. 나는 우리 있는 주인이니까. 먹으러? 깜짝이야. 이렇게 가까이 있으면 어떡해. 핫! 나 강제전환도 할 수 있네. 대장전 해주시고 다음 이거 하면 부품 뽀개질 텐데. 있어봐. 너무 아프잖아. 난 너에게 아마 필요한 부품이 있을 것 같아서 마음대로 못 쏘겠는데 괜찮은 걸까? 어이! 항상 맞으라고? 어디 갔어? 맞으라고. 맞아. 또 한 방. 어디 갔어? 어디 갔어? 야야야! 일로 와봐. 내 친구 저쪽에 하면 안 되는데? 그때 재장전? Where? 일로 와. 아씨, 나 침 다 써버렸고. 너무 아프잖아. 일로 와. 맞아. 야, 너 최상이냐 아니냐? 최상이가 아니면 조금 내가 필요하든가 모르겠네. 부품 필요한데 이거 쓰면 좀 그렇거든요. 기다려. 너 김치 채워야 돼. 하지마! 그 뭔지 모르겠지만 하지마! 전기였고 일로와. 어디가? 거기는 내 친구 있어서 안 돼. 이쪽으로 와. 어디 아이! 일로와. 맞으시라고요. 플라즈마 맞으시라고. 너는 하긴 산성이 좀 더 그거더라잉. 잠깐. 이러면 곤란해지는데. 잠깐. 저쪽도 뭐 있어? 저 찌끄레기들 있다고. 찌끄레기들은 곤란하거든요. 나중에 내 친구 불러서 올라간다 치고 콜은 오니께 콜은 돌아오는 거야. Where? 어디 갔어 얘? 아싸리. 기창풀. 일로 와. 아유 깜짝이야. 아유 정말 와 주셨네요. 일어나라 에일로이. 야. 이거 하지 말라 그랬지 내가. 하지 말라 그랬지. 어디 갔어 얘? 아이씨 여기 있네? 일격 치명적이었고 이거 먹어라. 그리고 이것도 먹어라. 라스트 팡 해야 되는디요. 팡 할 것 같은데? 죽었냐? 안 죽었냐? 데미지를 주고. 친구야 나 픽업 좀 와줘라. 중추신경. 중추신경 필요하긴 했네. 하지만 나에게 필요한 건 최상위 스토커였고요. 친구야 미안하다. 너의 수리비를 생각하자니 이게 좀 더 나은 것 같더라고. 다시 올라가자. 귀찮겠지만 그래도 넌 다치지 않았지 않니? 더 올라가. 그렇게 높다 그치? 약좀 먹어주시고. 난 스톤보트 타고 싶은데 써니 말고 약간 경차 느낌이잖아요. 전 세단 타고 싶거든요. 나는 세단 좋아하거든. 근데 그게 아니라서 조금 그렇구만. 다음 이거 뭐 하나 죽일 때마다 나오면 조금 곤란한 것인데요. 네, 재장전이야. 이거 위로 가야 되나? 쟤는 유유히 그래 산책하고 있어라. 내가 해주지 못하지만. 근데 어떡하? 이거 그런가? 이 보라색 뭘 얘기하는 걸까? 일단 저쪽으로 가볼까요? 저기 있다.
Another armor fragment.
One more. Where? 여기 삼각형 하나 보이던데? 안간가? 이쪽에서 하나 주었고 저쪽에서 하나 주었고 나머지는 또 이쪽도? 저 상태는 내가 이미 먹었는데? 안 먹었나? 내 친구야 손잘 들고 있어라. 저건 안 먹은 상자구나. 상자 안 먹은 거 못 참지. 요거 주시고 소중히 주시고 나머지는 어디 있네요. One more. 이쪽은 아닌가? 근데 저쪽 위쪽 올라가는 제가 좋아하는 철화락이 있어서 아니 그거 타려고 한 거 아닌데요. 아니었는데요. 이렇게 된 거 타? 어디일까? 좀 더 높이 올라가 볼까? 삼각형 보라색 삼각형. 여기 어디 보이는데? 나 정말 극한의 시야거든요. 근데 여기 안에 있는 건 맞아. 26 발자국. 잘 안 보인다잉. 오히려 이 날갯짓이 정신 사나워. 내릴게. 친구야 내릴게. 나 이거 못 내림. 이거 해지하고 내려야 돼? 난 내릴게. 어이쿠. 여기야. 너무 웃긴다. 의도치 않은 철화라. 이었고 어디지? 보라색 삼각형. 아까 왼쪽에 하나 더 있었는데 넌 뭐야? 사냥은 필요 없고요? 이쪽일까? 정말 저기다. 보관함인데요? 저거는? 이쪽에 하나 있어. 이쪽으로 가보자. 어디 숨겨져 있나? Where? 보라색. 뭘 생각해서 한 말이지? 이쪽. 오케이. 찾아보요?
Looks like another bit of armor.
됐지? 5조각인 거 아니지? 오케이.
I should let the Tanakh know I recovered what's left of this kit.
알려주고 이 또 서브에 서브 주는 거 아니지. 그리고 좀 멀거든요? 이렇게 되면 차라리 모닥불로 가는 게 낫기 때문에 그냥 아래쪽으로 태워달라자. 친구야! 차락! 가자. 사실 이것도 얘한테 할 필요 없이 내가 그냥 하강하면 그래도 빠른 건데. 내릴게, 친구야. 내릴게. 핫! 죽을 뻔. 자동으로 펴지긴 하는데 못 믿겠어. 가끔 기계가 좀 그렇달까. 오요? 빠른 이동 가기 전에 내가 왔다. 감사하십시오, 휴먼.
We saw you fly. Did you find
다
Farika?
타고? 그렇지.
I was able to
여기서 안
retrieve her
보일 텐데?
armor. What's left of it anyway. She didn't stand a chance against that Stormbird.
Ah, I see. Painful end. But not without glory. So, what do you think? Was she the first to fly on the wings of the Ten?
She was brave and spent a fair amount of time in the air. I'd say what she did qualifies.
She flew. I knew it. The first to fly. As her successor, you should keep her armor. You can fix it up at the workbench. This way.
나 주는 거야? 방어구야? 전설이니?
Once you repair the armor, you're welcome to it.
어떡하지?
You take
나
after
지금
Farika.
이거 거의 5성
Bold,
찍었던가?
brave,
찍기 직전인가
And a
본데.
diplomatic liar.
She met a harsh fate. Let her have the title.
Fair enough.
차라리 이쯤이면
It's
전설이
kind of you to show such
아니었으면
humility.
좋겠다는 그런 생각이 드는데? 뭔데? 어딘데? 내려가야 돼? 수리 내가 해야 돼? 셀프야?
A rush of air.
그렇지. 그냥 주는 거면 고마운 것이지. 내가 뭐 그런 거 가릴 때니? 수리. 여기.
Once you repair
여기. 퀘스트 아이템. 볼까? 다행이다. 보라색이다. 근데 개멋있게 생긴 거 아니야? 뭘까? 테낙스 하늘 등반가. 봅시다. 어떻게 생겼나 보자. 뭐 자주 봐왔던. 그리고 허리춤에 뭐죠? 표주박이라 해야 되나? 저 호롱 물통은 뭡니까? 그치. 수분 섭취는 중요하지. 그래도 이게 멋있다. 이게 제일 멋있네. 이것도 멋있긴 한데 보라색이라서 이건 이제 컬러만 바뀐 거긴 한데 다른 전설도 멋있는 거 있긴 한데 내가 여태까지 한 게 얼마인데 못 참지. 그러면 이제 남은 퀘스트가 저건 이제 퀘스트 하다가 죽으면 업그레이드 하는 거고 아님 말고 퀘스트 메인 남았고 사이드 다 했거든요. 심부름도 다 했어요. 일거리 이거는 뭐 업그레이드 하는 거고 제가 수확품 계약도 다 했어요. 사냥터도 다 했어요. 그리고 격투장도 다 했어요. 투기장은 남았는데 귀찮아졌어. 건틀릿 도전 하나 남긴 했네. 수수품 비스타 포인트도 귀찮아. 야 너무 귀찮아. 그러면 그냥 메인 가 볼게요. 지도 모드 메뉴. 뭘다이? 기지로 가는 거야? 이게 라스트일 것 같긴 한데. 자신이
That was a well-earned victory. One that merits speaking face to face.
어?
You have to admit,
누구세요?
I put on a good show.
Except for the part where you try to run me off the track.
Our reunion with an old partner
닐 씨
deserves more than a
누구시지?
handshake,
생각이 안
don't you
나는데?
think?
We killed bandits together, Nil. For different reasons. I'm not sure we were partners.
어쨌든 경주는 알아서 제가
Now more than ever.
편집을 해버렸고 녹화를 안
Especially
했어요
since
애초에.
we've moved on to something even more entertaining.
무엇이지? 되게 그것처럼 생겼다. 그 뭐죠?
So,
토이스토리에
The
나오는 그
mask, the
느끼한
armor.
그 친구 있잖아요.
You knew the Tanakh would never let a Carja
우주
join a
로봇.
race.
갑자기 이름이 버즈?
When I returned
약간
to
버즈
the
닮은
Forbidden West,
느낌이지
I knew
않아요?
that walking the clan lands would attract as much blood as my bow could handle. And it did. But I realized that if I wanted to ride with the Tenakth, it wouldn't do to indulge in petty duels. I mean, you can't race with the dead.
So you restrained yourself? Sort of.
There's no restraint on the track. Who knows, though? One day, the mask may no longer be necessary.
그쵸. 코로나
After all, everyone here
마스크가
knows me by the
또
speed of
되겠지만
my
안
mount
끝날까?
and the sting of my arrows. And the Tenakth respect victory even more than they cherish their feuds. But for now, it keeps the children entertained.
How are you even here?
I won't bore you with the details. It's enough to say that you left Meridian a land of peace. And a man with a bow can go restless in such a place, so I traveled my old haunts for a while.
You've been to the Forbidden West before?
During the Red Raids, yes. I have fond memories of that campaign.
I'm not sure fond is the word I'd use.
I did what was acceptable at the time. Some might call it excess, but I think the Tenakth understood. They relish the kill and grasp the need of it. That's a language we can both speak.
I wish I could say you were wrong. So, racing?
Ah, yes, a surprise for me as well. By chance or fate, I found myself wandering the desert, thirsty for a thrill. And then I saw the riders. A glint of steel at high speed, metal haunches splashed with blood. I admit I was smitten. To ride the edge between life and death, now that is a beautiful thing.
I guess that's one way to describe it. You always said that the thrill of the kill was too sharp to deny. It's hard to believe you've left that life behind.
I still hear the call when the blood boils and the bowstring tightens. But then I race. The threat of every turn, each well-placed strike, the arrow that grazes the skin. It's a dance that holds death close, at the perfect distance, repeatable and therefore perpetual. And I get to share it with fellow riders who appreciate the flavor of blood and steel. It's enough to soothe a man's demons. I believe you know this, or else you wouldn't be here.
I think my demons are slightly different from yours, Nil. I'm glad you found your thing, Nil. Relieved, actually. I think.
Don't worry. Nothing will ever quite replace our partnership.
I wasn't worried.
You know, you could always join us. Live without the restraints of whatever narrow path you've carved
아니요,
out for
너무
yourself.
힘들어요. 경주 손가락 뽀개질 것
Thank
같아.
you for the offer,
엄지
but
손가락 나가고
I think
검지
I'm
손가락
good.
나갈 것 같아.
As expected. But you can always find me on the track if you need a release. And I promise to never go easy on you.
I know that's supposed to mean
진짜 버즈 같지
something
않아요? 정말
nice.
전형적인
So-
능글능글한 아메리칸 맨 같은 느낌이에요.
Hey, Red Teeth! Stop hogging all the attention. Aloy, you want to celebrate with us too, right?
I'll leave you to it.
아니 그래서
See you when you
경품
feel the
뭔데?
need.
경품을 알려달라고.
So, you gonna tell us what's under
버즈
the mask or
토이스토리
what?
보세요. 그럼 얼굴
Sorry,
어떤 얼굴인지 알
ears
수 있어.
only.
Worth a try.
Don't celebrate for too long. Tracks don't race themselves, you know.
Just try not to kill each other before I get there.
Hey, Aloy, you won the big one.
어?
Don't forget to take your winnings.
레알
Left them in that chest for you.
징입니까? 헉! 준슬. 나 저거 가벼운 활은 안 쓰긴 하는데 전술 못 참지. 불이잖아요, 선생님. 불이랑 일반이네. 이게 축착 빨라가지고 그 속성 데미지 쌓긴 좋긴 하거든요. 근데 저는 이것보다는 볼트가 편해가지고 볼트로 속성 쌓기를 하고 있기 때문에 좀 미묘? 안 쓰긴 해요. 보나마나도 재료가 어마어마하게 들 테니까. 그럼 이제 이 전투까지 쌓기 다 했거든요. 그러면 나는 이제 거기를 가겠습니다. 메인캐를 하러 우리 기지로 가도록 하죠. 이제 진짜 메인캐밖에 안 남았거든요.
Hey, Mr. Know-It-All is here. You know, your focus buddy who never smiles. I didn't know what to do with him, so I had him wait in your room.
Got it. Thanks.
웃지 않는 포커스 친구래.
Well,
찐으로
Silence,
왔네?
looks like you finally found a door you could open without me.
홀로그램이 아니라?
I'm glad it's there, actually. It kept me from having to mingle with the company you keep. But enough prattle. I believe you owe me an explanation. Your plans for the Zenith base?
You're right. I do owe you. My spear in your throat for deceiving me again.
꽃자창.
At the Hades Proving Lab.
I doubt you asked me here for that kind of reckoning.
No. Right now, I need your help. So I'm giving you one final chance. But if you ever betray me again, I will kill you no matter what the circumstance. Understood?
Very well. Though we'll both face a decidedly short future if you can't get us inside that base.
Aloy, your other guest is here.
또?
She's,
쉬인 거 보니까 그분인가?
Thanks.
에어비앤비
Good
사장님.
timing. The truth is, I can't actually get us into the base. But she can.
맞네. 에어비앤비 사장님.
The company you keep is even worse than I thought.
Not a fan of surprises, are you? Oh, look. That must be your little invention.
Does the weapon work? Without self-destructing?
Of course it does. I've eliminated the imperfections and greatly improved its design
믿어도 될까 저거?
and output.
How can we be sure?
Care for a demonstration?
Enough, both of you. We're in
이
this
또
together.
현관이 싹트나.
At least for now.
설마 몇 커플
talk to
아니야?
Aaron.
커플 얘기하지 말자.
Tell him I said to give you rooms of your
한번
own.
가셨기 때문에 커플 얘기.
I'll come see you when I get a chance.
무슨 우산 가방 내듯이 둘러매.
Oh, no. You first.
둘이 같이 나가. 동시에 자 하나 둘 셋 하면 같이 나가요. 아니고 말 더럽게 안 듣고. 오케이. 그러면 특이점인데
Better get everyone in the control
동료들은
room
한
so
대
Tilda can
모아야
tell us what
됩니다.
she knows about the Zenith base.
이제 모아서 작전 회의 하나 봐.
I failed, Varl. At Gemini. I should have pushed harder. I should have done more.
내가 복수한다.
I'd give anything to have him back.
우리 돌아오면 장르가 바뀌지 않을까 이 게임에? 일단 모든 항목을 이제 가기 전이니까 요거 한번
With
싹
Miguel out of the
봅시다.
way, Hikaru and Tanakh, they're safe. The future's up to them now. I do wish they'd drop all the honorary names they've given me. But if I've learned anything about them, that is not a battle I am going to win.
이건 갱신 안 됐고 이걸 갱신 안 됐고 이제 이렇게 가면 잠깐만 얘네한테 대화해야 되는데 아 이제 가이아 저쪽에 얘기한다. 선생님들
He seems happy with it.
사실 말씀 해보십시오.
Aloy, you came back with some interesting friends.
Wish I could say we don't need them. But Silence and Tilda are here for a reason. Even Regala.
Yeah, enemy of my enemy and all that, right?
Right. I guess Silence is keeping to himself, as usual.
I was hoping he'd give me an excuse to hammer his sorry ass to the ground.
Please don't.
You telling me you wouldn't want to get just one good hit on that smug
싶어.
face of his? After everything
때리고
he's
싶어.
done?
Sure. Later. Right now, he's got something we need. Doesn't look like any of our guests are making trouble.
Yet. So, Catalo tells me you flew. Well, that's new. I've been busting my bulks trying to learn to read. You're out there having all the fun.
Don't worry. You'll be getting all the fun you can handle soon. With the Zeniths.
Looking forward to it.
You,
이제 에렌드
talked to Tilda at all?
죽을 것 같아.
I tried.
1편에
I'd
나왔던
give
사람들
a hot
죽는
forge
거
to
아니야?
melt that ice. And you say she wants to help?
I think so. Well, let's hope.
엔딩 볼
better get
때까지도
going.
스트라이크
Oh, you know where to
주지
find me.
않을 생각이고. 됐고, 그다음 요. 조야, 좀 여기서 말 걸어야 얘기해주더라. 괜찮니, 조야?
Aloy, it appears that we have some interesting new guests. I'm glad to see you're okay, though. I heard you gave the Tanakh something to talk about. I was half expecting you to burst in through the ceiling riding a sunwing.
수리비가 엄청 들거든. 모든 건 자본 중.
Have you talked to any of our new friends?
Aaron and I tried speaking to Silence,
그새
but apparently our
금문 나간 지 얼마 안 됐는데.
tribal prattle is unnecessary.
Charming, isn't he?
So charming.
Ready to head over to the Zenith base?
Whatever comes, we will endure.
Thoughts on our new Zenith acquaintance?
I'd say she smells like death, but even death smells of something. She's more like a cold piece of metal, bent on repelling all semblance of life.
She's definitely different. I have to go. I trust you to keep things
그러니까
civil
넌
around
여기
here.
있어.
I'll make sure Aaron doesn't punch Silence in the face, if that's what you mean.
나가는 거 아니야? 이제는 좀 더 진슬이다. 대박. 걔는 썬더즈 꼬리도 줬어요. 그냥 다 필요한가? 진작 주지. 공속 성공은 땡장의 자부심 뭐였지?
You flew? Kotalo told me. And took out Regala's machines? You know what? I don't even know why I'm surprised. I saw we have visitors and a new weapon.
또 눈에 약간의
Does
광기를
this
띠는
mean
것
we're
같은데
ready to
기분
take the
탓일까?
fight to the Zeniths?
Almost. Are you okay?
I was wondering, is it really safe having someone like Regala here?
아 맞아. 레갈라도 이쪽
Seems
왔지.
angry. The kind of angry that leads to
레갈라랑
murdering people
얘기해야
in their
되는데.
sleep.
Don't worry.
난 아까 만나러 갈
We're
때
going to point that
레갈라
anger in the
만나는
right
줄 알았어요.
The Zeniths.
If you say so.
I hope our new guests have been behaving.
This Silence, he's the one who built the weapon that can take down Zenith shields?
He is. Though I wouldn't expect him to answer any questions about it. He refuses to dole out his secrets to us lesser mortals.
Oh.
You know that special part of us that makes us warm, kind, welcoming?
Our spirit?
Yeah. He was born without that. You sure you're okay going on this mission? I know things must be happening pretty fast for you.
I've already braved oceans and madmen who thought they were ancestors reborn. Why not a few immortals with lethal drones at their command, too?
Guess the more the merrier. I suppose you saw that Tilda is here. Our very own Zenith.
I almost went up to her to ask her, well, every question I've
그럴
ever
줄
had
알았어.
about the legacy.
그래도 잘 참았다.
Every diviner I
힘들었을
know
것
would
같아
kill to
참는다고.
get 5 minutes with one of the old ones. But now that she's here, all I feel is a vague unease. I don't know if I'm scared of finding out more uncomfortable truths or just scared of her. Probably both.
I need to wrap up a few things, but stay
사고
sharp.
치지 말고.
I'll be ready
이제
when you call.
고사가 눈앞이니까. 다음 분 스칼렛 씨가 어디 있더라?
Did you need something?
깜짝이야. 아저씨 여기 계셨어요? 아니 나 이거 다 했나 보려고. 하나 더 남았네?
Bravo. You managed to sway a zenith to your side.
선생님이랑은 첫 대화라서 할 얘기가
Not a
많을 것
chance.
같은데?
I thought you said the weapon was
가지치기
ready.
장난 아닐 것 같은데?
There's always room to optimize. But that's not why you're here. I assume you want to comprehend my undertakings. So, ask away.
각오해야 할 듯.
Since when were you so forthcoming?
Since you turned this into a waiting game. And as it seems you have found modest success, perhaps I'm willing to be generous.
생각보다 몇 개 없는데 여기서 또 파생이 되려나?
Okay, so your big plan, everything you've been manipulating for the last few months. Let me see if I got this straight. You learned about the Zeniths from Hades when you interrogated it. Then you came up with a plan to defeat them by using a Tenakth army and that weapon. And to get the Tenakth to fight for you, or rather the Sons of Prometheus, armed Regala's rebels with override tech.
Did you have an actual question, or are you still playing catch-up?
So all this time, even before I found the coordinates at the Spire, you were out here scheming. Why couldn't you just tell me?
When I learned of the Zenith's return to Earth, I laid out my plans. I knew I would one day require an army of overzealous Tenakth to assault the Zenith base. The casualties would be extreme. And I knew you would never allow such a sacrifice, no matter how necessary. Thus, I devised a means to remove your interference from the equation at the Hades Proving Lab.
기분 탓인가? 뭐 엄청 많이 생긴 것 같은데.
Why create the Sons of Prometheus? You didn't need a Sarah to make override tech.
They were a necessary safeguard. My time serving Hades in the Eclipse demonstrated the risks of getting directly involved. Through the Sons of Prometheus, I could execute my plans, all while remaining anonymous.
Except to a Sarah.
또 갱신된 것 같은 기분 탓인가?
How did you get a Sarah to work for you?
I knew there was an associate of the Oseram tinker, Durval, who escaped his failed assault on Meridian. It was trivial to track her down and gain her cooperation. She wanted to succeed where Durval had failed.
So you promised her Regala and the Tenakth. The Sarah would help you create a machine-riding army and wanted to see Meridian burn as much as she did.
And so a partnership was born out of thirst for blood, bonded in mutual self-interest.
You think you had everything figured out, huh?
I did.
You wanted me to surrender to the Zenith at the Hades Proving Lab. They almost killed me.
Based on everything I knew about them, I concluded they would find you a useful asset, thereby keeping you out of harm's way and, more importantly, out of my way.
So you really didn't know they had their own clone of Elizabeth?
No. Unfortunately, there was no way I could have known that particular detail.
Detail? Well, I guess if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be here today. Tell me about the weapon. How does it work?
I've upgraded the delivery system. It now emits a wave-like effect covering a significant distance.
That doesn't fully answer my question.
No, but I'd be a fool to reveal its inner workings.
녀석.
After all, why did you withhold your plan for dealing with the Zenith
기미를
drones?
팔아먹는 타입은 아니군요.
Yes. Even you can appreciate the value of secrecy when warranted. Suffice it to say that the weapon will work.
아니, 근데 나는 님한테 통수도 맞았고 그 보증을 설마 난 문과생이라서 그냥 설명하기 포기하신 건가? 해봐야 못
Why help
알아들으니까.
Regala take over? If you wanted an army, you could have just gone to Hikaru.
Before Regala's rebellion, Hikaru was only concerned with battling machines and
그러니까 이 사람도
fostering
나름 큰
friendships
그림을
with the
그렸어.
Karja.
큰 그림을
Even if
굉장히
I deigned his
그렸는데
ear, he would never agree to send his forces to battle a threat he couldn't understand.
So helping a bloodthirsty exile was easier.
Yes, exceedingly so. All Regala craved was war against the Karja and anyone who threatens the Tanakh. She would have led the tribe into battle without question, which was precisely what I needed.
While I was out there, I had a couple run-ins with the Quen.
The tribe from across the ocean. And?
Their entire tribe was shaped around the discovery focuses. One of them, Alva, even joined me here. Don't you want to know more about them?
No. They stumbled upon the greatest technological artifact from the ancient world, and what did they do with it? They shrouded the knowledge they unearthed in mysticism and taboo, creating a pantheon out of corporate shills.
Yes, well, it also led them to Thebes.
Did it now?
So those run-ins with the Quen I mentioned. On one of them I teamed up with their expedition to search Thebes. We found Pharaoh at the end.
You must have needed Omega clearance. So, what was it like?
Worse than you can imagine.
He single-handedly wiped out collective human knowledge. I'm sure it was still less than he deserved.
Let me guess. You would have scraped him into a jar so you could prod his brain, like what you did with Hades.
For a start.
준비나 해, 이 녀석.
All right, Silence. I think I've talked to you long enough.
하지 말고.
I'll let you know when it's time to go. And
3편이 나오려면 뭔가 찜찜한 상태로 끝나야 되지 않을까요?
Ah, yes. About your Zenith ally. I wonder if you understand what
3편까지
kind
가게
of person
되면
you're dealing with.
이
For
지구
someone to live as long as she
회복이
has, outlast as many calamities. Well,
좀 결국 노답이 되고 이렇게 돼서
but I'd watch
이
for the
에일로이가
moments they
희생하는 걸로
diverge.
끝나는 거 아니겠지?
Yeah, I'm aware.
어쨌든 뭐
Reminds me of someone else I know.
트릴로지의
Survival is only a necessity
비밀을
to my greater
장식하기 위해
purpose,
하나씩
Aloy.
죽어나간다
I hope you'd
쓴다면
recognize that by now.
Do you know something or not?
Oh, I know a great deal of things. But on this, just call it
이미 지구는 여러 번 리셋되어지는 정답이었기 때문에
Oh, a feeling. You mean you
에일로이가
finally
정말
had one?
구원을 하던지
Huh.
아니면 구원을 위해
Guess even you can change, Silence.
본인이 희생할 수밖에 없던지 이렇게 가는 거 아니지 설마. 일단 이 녀석 얘기 끝났고 다음 분.
Oh, before I forget, I watered those plants for you. I just know
근데
they're not
베타
allowed to
없죠 지금. 베타 없고 레갈라 있고. 일단 이분 틸다씨.
Well done, Aloy.
아 진짜 나중에 통 치는 거 아니야
Despite
이분?
reservations,
흑막이었던
you
거임.
managed to secure Silence and his weapon.
선생님 자꾸
truly
그러시면
a
저
shining
에어비앤비
example of
한국어만 한국인만 알아들을
I've
수
been
있는
thinking
그런
about what you
후기
said
남겨버릴
at
거예요.
your house. How you were friends with Elizabeth. It was more than that, wasn't it?
Perceptive as ever. You're right, we were together for a time.
Okay, so what happened?
I was an orphan. I had always been alone. By my 30s, I was starting to wonder if that was simply my fate in life. And then I met Liz. We kept running into each other at conferences. We'd have coffee. At some point, it became drinks. I thought it was just shop talk, an exchange of ideas, but then I was surprised at how much I looked forward to seeing her. Soon we were flying halfway across the world every other week just to meet up. For the first time, I
장거리
didn't
연애하신
feel
거예요?
lonely. I could imagine a future where I wasn't. I think Liz felt the same way at first. She had lost her mother a few years back. I filled a void for her. I know I did. But as time passed, it seemed as though she wanted less when I wanted more. And so we ended things.
So helping me, restoring Elizabeth's dream. It's what?
A second chance, yes. I made a mistake leaving Earth while Liz stayed behind. I should have done more. So when I saw you, a woman who has carved her own remarkable path,
네 이런
beyond
마인드도
even
조금
what
위험한
made Liz a
마인드긴 해요.
phenomenon,
사
I knew I
뭐랄까
had to help you.
부모가 자식을 자기의 이상향으로 키우지 못했는데
You said before that you're not
이제
like the
거기에
others, Venus.
대한
That you never were.
생각으로 자식의
But you went
손자를
along with all of their plans.
Out of necessity.
자식이 손자를 낳으면 아, 그 아이는
I'm not
실수하지
proud
않고
of
더
it.
잘 키울 거야. 약간 이런
But
느낌인 것
complicity
같은데
became a means
그런
of
케이스 은근히
survival,
많거든요.
both when Earth was consumed and when the colony on Sirius was destroyed. I did what I had to. But I resolved to remain one step ahead of the others, to try to undo what damage I could. Hence the data channel with Beta. The secret passage into their base and the little trick I pulled to save you.
Why did you make the data channel look like your house?
I built that house as a shelter to weather any storm. A safe place, not just for me, but for the art stored in its depths. Cultural artifacts of incalculable value. Truly, some of the greatest achievements of human civilization.
And you wanted Beta to see them?
Yes. Her upbringing was so cold and technical. I thought if she could experience Vermeer and Rembrandt, it would bring something else into her life. A heritage every bit as valuable as the scientific and technical data being drummed into her. I'm sorry I had to cut off contact, but I'll never regret sharing this house with her. She needed its shelter even more than I did.
Why do you think Elizabeth pulled away?
I've wondered that for 1,000 years. She was brilliant, visionary. She cared so deeply for the world, for the betterment of humanity. But it also felt like she kept everyone at arm's length, including me. She never wanted to share her burdens. I think, in the end, she had a core that she never let anyone be part of. Sometimes I wonder if anyone really knew her.
I found a recording of you and Elizabeth back in the proving lab after Farzineth's attempt to steal Gaia.
Yes. A most unpleasant conversation.
She said something after the call. I think she regretted how things ended between you.
Did she? All this time, thank you for telling me. I've always hated that those were the last words we ever said to each other. And that her last impression of me was as a functionary of Far Zenith, not who I truly am.
When it's time to break into the Zenith base, what can we expect?
I'll go over the full layout once you've assembled your friends. Suffice it to say, we will need to push as fast as possible to Beta and Gaia's location, dealing with heavy resistance along the way. There are also printing facilities where the others have been amassing the natural resources they've stripped from the region.
What for?
First for use in the base's infrastructure, and then to fabricate more Spectre drones, a small army of them.
When I was out in the wilds, I saw a shuttle take off from the island, heading for space.
It was likely ferrying materials to and from our ship in orbit. After hundreds of years luxuriating in our digital comforts, the ship was barely space-worthy when we made our escape. Disaster can strike at any moment. We've learned our lesson.
Have you figured out how Silence's weapon works?
No, and he's been very careful not to allow me near it. I'll admit it bothers me, but regardless of how it functions, I am confident it will deactivate the other shields en masse.
How many of them are in the base?
10, including Eric and Gerard. Only a handful of us made it to our ship when our colony collapsed.
오, 저기요.
So Eric, was he always a
제일 나대는
bloodthirsty
그 친구 말하는
psychopath?
건가?
I believe he got worse over time. On Earth, he was the founder of a profitable private military company. A band of cutthroats, in other words. Even as governments abandoned human combatants in favor of automated warfare. He found success with clientele that required a more personal touch. There were also rumors that he personally hunted and killed his targets. On occasion, all for the thrill of it. But on Sirius, he retreated to virtual reality simulations. In them, he could go on rampages as violent as he pleased, though I suspect with diminishing satisfaction.
All of his tribe believes he was one of the greatest people from the old world.
Then they would be quite disappointed to meet him, though I'm sure he'd bask in the adoration.
What can you tell me about Gerard?
He was the head of the world's largest financial conglomerate, and as such had dealings with almost every major corporation. It made him one of the wealthiest people on Earth, and certainly the wealthiest among Far Zenith.
What does one person do with that much money?
Buy more power, more influence. Gerard's always believed himself to be a refined patrician, able to maintain control with a polished smile. But beneath that exterior is a cold and calculating operator. It was his decision to restrict Beta's upbringing to her digital educators, the avatars of the Apollo database, while we were painted as her benefactors.
Well, we'll deal with him soon enough. And the others.
I would very much like to see his face when he realizes we've beaten him.
When I was in the ruins of Vegas, I found data on a man named Stanley Chen. I think he was a Zenith.
Stanley, ever the optimist. He was one of the good ones. When we established our colony, he built an exact replica of Las Vegas in virtual reality. Lights, shows, gambling, every detail perfectly recreated. And while others cloistered themselves in their own fantasies, he flung his doors wide to everyone.
The way you're talking about him, I'm guessing he didn't make it back to Earth?
No, he perished when our colony was destroyed. He would have been thrilled to discover that part of his beloved city survived.
When Beta escaped and hid in an ancient research facility, I saw another one of the Zeniths, Verbena. Who was she?
A dull star amidst a sea of brighter
쉬라는 거
constellations.
보니까 그리고
Unlike
과거형으로
most
얘기하는
of
거
Far Zenith's
보니까
members who
그때 그 뭐죠?
amassed their wealth through shrewd business deals and
어디
technological
동굴 앞에
achievements,
갔을 때
Verbena
죽었던
inherited her billions.
걔인 거 같은데?
Her father had achieved great success in the luxury holotourism industry. At age 24, she became the world's most eligible bachelorette, branding herself a life designer. Someone who leverages their fame to influence the choice of others.
What, like a cult?
In a way, yes.
Well, she must have done something right to have survived this long.
She was her own brand of ruthless. That much is true. But even rats can cling to a vessel for escape.
Okay, so I've had run-ins with a handful of Zeniths. What about the rest?
An array of the wealthiest people on Earth. Titans of their industries.
And let me guess. All selfish and ruthless to the core?
Most, but not all. There were a few with whom I got along. Annika Murjani, for instance, was always delightful. She founded the Holonet's most successful dance channel and was herself mesmerizing to watch. And I had fascinating discussions with Song Jiao about her work in cellular biology. Our immortality treatments are due in part to her achievements. But then there were others like Devin Miller, the CEO of a fast food printing corporation. His only real preoccupations were perfecting his golf swing and taking self-hollows.
이분은
When I think
진짜
about all of us,
저런
we
예술품
really
같은 거
should have
좋아하나
accomplished
봐요.
more.
자기 그 우리 에어비앤비에서 봤던 그런 그림 같은 것도 이런 거에 홀로그램으로라도 저렇게 두는 거 보니까 그런 거 같은데? 다온 거 같죠?
Okay. I'll let you know when it's time.
I'll be here until then. And thank you, Aloy, for giving me this chance.
선생님 믿습니다. 통치 치면 안 돼요, 진짜. 안 칠 것 같긴 해. 뭔가 이제 엘리자베스에 대한
I see
나름의
Liz's
속죄라고 해야
dream
되나?
fulfilled. A
그래,
universe
후회가
of
있기
new
때문에
possibilities.
Maybe we can make it happen.
그것도 뭐
We
페이크일
will.
수도 있는 거라서 모르겠지만
I
너무
won't
의심이
let
많아.
anything get in the way. I promise you that.
일단 됐고 잠깐 이 방에 이걸 약간 게 있고
I've been tackling the design of the Ag Lab. Place is
들었던 것 같기도 하고
gonna have a lot of seed stock to work with. My favorite?
그리고
Sepal 626.
버탈로스
Calotropis gigantea. The crown flower. We used to have one in our bed.
I see you've got your new arm ready to go.
Yes. It still feels strange. I've gotten used to the
근데
absence,
얘기할 때
but no matter.
사람 좀 쳐다보고 해주시면 안 돼요?
I'm sure I will need it before the attack on the Zenith base is through.
오케이 선생님
Haven't seen you since the battle at the Grove. How are you holding up?
I saw you fly on the wings of the Ten.
좀 쩔었죠?
Paralyze Regala's army with lightning. I would say that I am inspired.
Thank you, I guess.
It is I who should be thanking you.
Look, I know you're probably not happy about keeping Regala around, but I want her on our side when we fight the Zeniths.
It is more than she
아,
deserves.
근데 레갈라를 살리는 게 옳은 선택이었을까? 이게 작정로였을까? 내가 죽인다고 해도 결국 막 주변에서 말려가지고 살리는지 아니면 또 죽이면 진짜로 죽어서 다른 선택지가
I would
있는지
have it no other way. Many soldiers died in the old world to make sure we stood here today. We will endure on their behalf. Though I am curious how you intend to defeat the Zenith's defenses without an army of our own.
Leave that to me. Just make sure you're ready to fight.
As you say, you have more than earned my trust.
Did you meet Tilda?
There is something about her that doesn't seem natural. I wouldn't be surprised if my sword went through her and she didn't bleed at all.
Honestly, with her, nothing would surprise me. Your people keep mentioning the wings of the Ten. What exactly does it mean?
The visions tell us that the Ten flew on great metal machines with wings and leapt into battle from the sky. For us, to imitate this feat is the ultimate expression of martial prowess. It is why the challengers leap into the arena during the Kulrut. And now, you have done it. Like the deeds of the Ten themselves, it will never be forgotten. So, tell me, how did it feel?
I won't lie. Pretty good.
I can only imagine.
이분하고도
I have to
대화는
go.
끝이고 이제
But
레갈라?
I'll be briefing everyone on the plan soon.
Understood.
This place
아,
smells
역시
raw.
여기 있었구나.
No
여기
sand,
베타방인데요, 레갈라 씨.
cold steel.
아, 2층 침대 중에 2층 쓰시는 거예요? 베타 1층 쓰게 하고? 꼼잡지
And the
말아라.
others up
너
there.
나한테 발렸잖아.
Your squad.
They can hold their own. And as for this base, it may not be what you're used to, but it is a shelter.
Call it what it is. A cage.
You came here on your
마음에
own.
좀 가는
For the
거.
battle you promised. So for now I wait in my cage for your word. Tell me
지금
when
마음에
to
드는 게
strike.
칭칭거리는 것 같은데. 이 방 쓰는 사람들은 앉아서 얘기하는 게 국룰인가 봐. 나보고는 앉으란 얘기 안 해줘요?
The whole time I've been in the West, I've been fighting you and your rebels. I'd at least like to know why.
You were among the enemy. What more is there to know?
Why did you do it?
Dork, Jiroka, Makalo, and the Karja pushed into the desert to raid our people. My brother's squad was among the first to intercept them.
뭐 얘도 얘 나름.
But the Karja captured them, strung them up, and burned them alive as an example. It was too late. I found them by the sound of their screams.
So you wanted vengeance?
Vengeance? No. I wanted devastation. To tear down the Karja's cities and drown the land in blood. Hunt down every last survivor and grind their bones until the sky chokes on the dust. But my chief betrayed me. Betrayed the Tanakh.
How did Hikaru betray you?
Hikaru called on the clans to resist the Karja's red raids. But we did more than just defend. We hunted them. And they fled as children before a pack of claw striders all the way to their border. There we ripped down their stone walls. Their domain was ours for the taking. But when it came time to push on, Hikaru ordered us to fall back. What soldier retreats when slaughter is at hand?
The kind who wants peace for their people.
Peace is just a lull between vendettas. But I thought my chief had greater tactics in mind, so I stood by him, even when he allowed that filthy Karja to join our ranks.
Fashav.
I enjoyed watching him die at the embassy. He should have been put down when we first captured him on the field. Instead, Hikaru made him a marshal.
Fashav told me how he became a marshal. He earned it just like any Tanakh.
It was an insult. No outlander can ever deserve to wear our armor, bear our marks. And then a Karja messenger was brought before us? That's when I knew. I had to run my blade through Hikaru and drag his treacherous corpse to the gates of the Sundom.
What happened when the Karja messenger appeared before Hikaru?
The quivering priest bore a message from their new king. No more war. No more raids. Suddenly the Karja wanted to talk peace. An embassy at the very fortress we tore down. A true Tanakh would never take a Karja truce. Their blood exists to be spilled. But Hikaru lapped up the priest's message. He showed himself a Karja-loving traitor when he accepted. That's when I challenged him.
And lost.
His mercy was just another sign of his weakness. I vowed never to rest until the debt was repaid, with him on his knees before me. So with an army of soldiers and machines at my back, I returned. The day you got in my way.
The deal you
나
made.
왜 이렇게 은근히
Over
내갈라
our tech in
마음에 들지?
exchange for an assault on the Zenith
이상한
base.
사람인가?
How did Silence approach you?
That name means nothing to me. My agreement was with the Asarama Sera and her sons of Prometheus.
So all this time, you didn't even know who you were really dealing with? And you trusted an Outlander?
But she spoke with the same burning hatred for the Karja. And she offered me the chance to run them down with machines. The terror in your enemy's eyes when they see you charge. You know what I'm talking about. I bet you felt it.
I don't think so. What about your end of the deal? Would you have honored it?
Had I killed Hikaru and become chief, these Zeniths would have been the first of the tribe's victories. But because of you, my people will continue to consort with the enemy. A tribe of weaklings.
Because of me, hundreds of Tanakh won't throw away their lives in a battle they can't win. Are you really going to fight alongside me?
I have no reason to betray you.
Really?
I failed to kill Hikaru? Failed to eliminate you? No Tenakth would follow me now. The Karja remain out of my reach, cowering behind their walls. All I have left are the screams of those long dead and unending rage. So show me where to bury it.
All right. I guess we'll both face the end soon enough.
Ever since you got in my way, I've wanted to see your bones burned white beneath the sun. But if I'm to die in battle, then it might as well be with the one who flew with the wings of the 10.
I'll let you know when it's time to move out. Okay.
얘들아,
It's time to get everyone
이제
together
가자.
so Tilda can brief us. But is there anything I should handle before that?
있어도 그냥 하자 이제. 이제 진짜 라스트인가
Alright,
봐요. 이
people.
전투
I
끝나면
need you up in
엔딩일
the
것
control
같은데.
room right away.
그게 얼마나 길지는 모르겠지만.
Okay, everyone.
다
We
저랑
all know
말씀
what's
한
at
번씩
stake.
하셨죠?
Beta, Gaia. Not to mention life on Earth. Now, it might seem like the Zeniths are invincible, but they're not. We've got what it takes to break into their base and defeat them. We even have one of them on our side. Tilda, show us the base.
It is constructed atop the ruins of an ancient military facility on an island to the southwest. I can get us inside. To this location, undetected.
How exactly?
You'll know when you need to.
서로가 패를 안 까.
will be this structure.
다 대보면 알아서 알 것이요. 이런 느낌으로
Gaia
얘기를
and Beta
하니까.
are being held at the top. But along the way, we will face overwhelming resistance. Most importantly from Gerard, Eric, and the others. But also...
Once I take away their shields, we should be able to deal with them.
이또 서로
But it will be
시비
easier
털기
to deploy
시작하는
the
건가?
device if someone else is carrying it.
이 또 큰 그림 그리고 있어서
I'll need
그런
a
거
strong
아니야?
back.
Carry stuff?
아,
Yeah, I can do
뭔가
that.
조금 촉이 안 좋은 것이.
Even if your device works, there will still be Spectre drones, scores of them.
If only we had an army to fight them.
I've got that under control. You'll know when you need to. All right. We'll meet up again just before we go in. Where's the best place to rendezvous?
On the coast, just across from the island. Once there, I'll show you the way.
Okay. I'll let you know when I arrive at the rendezvous point. And then you can join me. In the meantime, do whatever you need to prepare. Understood? You two? A minute?
따로 호출. 설마 저 팔로 실험해 보라고 부추기는 건 아니겠지, 에일로이?
Tilda helped me get in touch with Beta, and she told me something important. There's an installation inside the base. It's called a regulator. Here. Once we're inside, I need you two to split off from everyone else.
아, 이러면
and
둘 중
destroy
하나는
it.
죽을 각인데 코탈로일
So
것
you'll have
같은
to bring
그런
explosives.
느낌?
This will help stop the drones.
한참 전에 코탈로가 제가 여러 번
Everything
말씀드렸지만
depends on it.
상황 플레이가 대사를 하나 던졌거든요. 근데 아직
After that, I want you
살아있어.
to find a way to infiltrate the Zenith network.
이 말은 코탈로가 알바 뭐 살리든 뭐 하든 뭐
Go
터트려야 되는데 그게
over all the
작동을
data
잘 안
that
했다.
Beta left behind.
막 이러면서 데이터는
She
네가
knew how to do it.
가져갈
I'm
수
sure of
있으니
that.
네가 먼저 가! 막 이러면서
All right, but
생활
why?
각인데 이거
What am I
아니길
trying to
바랍니다.
do?
제발.
Find information about the Zeniths. Anything Tilda's not telling us. Silence is right about one thing. There's no way we can take her on her word.
I'll do my best.
Keep her safe, okay?
On my life.
이거 봐! 목숨 걸고 지키지라는 걸 봐서는 저 친구 죽은 것 같다고. 호텔로 안 돼! 아무도 죽지 말아라. 발을 죽은 걸로. 다들 그냥, 동료랑 또 대화해? 이거 이제 유언장 종이 들고 작성해야 될 것 같은데, 이거. 누가 죽을진 모르겠지만. 이번 편 여러분, 죄송하지만, 이거 대화로 거의 3분의 2가 채워질 것 같은 그런 느낌이네요.
Never thought I'd be off on a mission to take down a bunch of immortals from the stars. I can hear the drinking songs already.
Varl made the right call. You know, bringing you here.
Thanks. Yeah, Varl. You know, I never knew he had a sister. I found out a few days before you guys went to Gemini. I was, well, to be honest, I was terrified I'd screw up the mission somehow. So he sat me down for a drink. Just one, mind you. And we talked about family. Vala, Ursa, loss and revenge. How you helped us.
You know, we never did get that drink you promised back in the Embrace. And you never told me exactly how your sister escaped the Mad Sun King.
I guess we never got round to it. World ending and all. No time like the present, though. If you're up for it.
If that one's not working right, you can have one of my spare focuses, you know.
Yeah, little bugger's got some personality, that's all. This saved my butt a couple of times now. It wouldn't feel right to leave it behind. You know, besides, it goes with my outfit.
Wouldn't want to spoil your look.
한잔 할까? 이제 그건 아니네? 저거 게임 한 판 하자고는 안 하네?
You think it's time for us to finally have that
아이,
drink?
설마.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
작별주는
yeah,
아니겠지. 아니, 다 죽은 거 아니야, 이거? 그리고 3편에서는 새로운 동료들로 구성되어 가는 건가? 술상은 네가 차려오너라.
So, how did Ursa escape Mad Sun King Jiran's palace?
Well, first she had to survive the Sun Ring. See, during the war, the Karja threw a prisoner a day in there. And, you know, for what? To die as sacrifices, fighting machines in a pit. Thinking somehow that was gonna appease all the other deranged machines in the world? Ha! And when it was Ursa's turn, the Karja thought she'd go down if they threw a big machine at her.
Oh, but she didn't.
And she defeated all of them. Even got some of Jiran's kestrels for good measure. And the Mad Sun King was impressed, I guess. Thought it'd be funny to have her run around his palace as a servant. He enjoyed humiliating her that way.
I remember you telling me something about that. That's how she met Avad. He helped her escape.
Yeah, but what no Karja scroll will ever tell you is how the young prince snuck Ursa out of the palace. He knew their best chance was to get Ursa to blend in, so he got her everything she needed to disguise herself as a Karja noblewoman. Yeah, perfumes, veils, and all.
I get the feeling she wasn't too happy with that.
Oh man, Ursa would have rather fought her way out of that palace with her bare hands than put on all of that Karja eye paint. But Avad insisted it was the only way, so she agreed under one condition. Avad had to dress up as well.
She made Avad dress up like a noblewoman?
As perfumed and powdered as a babe. Ursa said he looked better like that than he ever did in a crown.
That would
우리 완전 초반
definitely make
마을에서
for an interesting sight.
Oh, it worked like a charm, too. Not only did they make it out of the palace, they paid a traveling merchant to get Ursa to the border, and none were the wiser.
뭐 안주도 없이 깡수 먹는 거 아닙니까?
You were
죽지
right.
말아라.
That was a story best told over a drink.
All good
명령이다.
stories are.
I guess I should get going.
I'll see you at the rendezvous point, with my hammer ready.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
양소 너도 죽으면 안 돼. 아, 저는 여기 있기로 하기로 한 거죠?
Fighting the Zeniths isn't going to be easy.
기지를 잘 부탁하네.
Nothing you do ever is. At least now you don't have to do it alone.
Thanks. You and Aaron seem to be on better terms now.
He may have terrible taste in music, but he did apologize for mocking my tribe. And that ale he keeps raving about isn't half bad. I still plan on beating that stubborn face of his to break our sparring stalemate.
Try not to hurt him too bad. Everyone here, training, working together. If it weren't for Varl, none of it would have happened.
You know, there was this one night, right before Varl left with you to go to Gemini. He realized I was having trouble sleeping. I was nervous about the mission. To be honest, I think we both were. So, he asked me to join him in Gaia's dome. He brought up this hologram of Earth that you two found back in the Zenith launch facility. We sat there, just looking at it. I thought about how Plainsong was just a speck on that great sphere. How every corner of it must be teeming with life. And any fears I had about our mission were gone. I miss him terribly.
I know. I should go. I'll let you know when I'm ready to head to the base.
Before you do, there is one favor I would ask of you.
What is it?
You placed this focus in my care, and gave me the highest calling an Utaru has ever known. If I should fall in battle, I'd like
아, 너도
you
배틀
to
가는
be the
거야?
one to bear
아,
my
또
secret.
사망 플래그.
For the both of us.
So,
make sure you stay alive to do so.
let's just try to all come back home. Okay?
아니, 사망 플래그 대사 이분도 던지는 거 보니까 이거 다 죽는 거 아니야, 진짜? 아, 그러지 말자.
You nervous?
I'd be lying if I said I'm not slightly apprehensive.
The plan will work if we all focus on our assignments.
Right.
I want you to know I'm glad you're with us, Alva.
Whatever happens, I'm grateful that the legacy brought us together. I never thought I'd get to actually meet an ancestor.
Come on, do I look that old? Katala will protect you inside the Zenith base.
I'm not afraid. I know Katala will fulfill his duty, as will I. If we die doing so, at least it'll be alongside a friend.
I'd rather you both stay alive, if you don't mind.
We'll try and keep that in mind.
다 죽는 빛인데.
Once all this is over, will you go back across the ocean?
I don't know. The more I think about it, the more worried I become. If I go back, I don't even know if they'd let me keep this focus you gave me, or what they'd do to me for reading what is clearly forbidden data. Even if I somehow were allowed to carry on my duties as a diviner, would I be willing to let the truths I've learned about the ancestors be buried away by the Board of
얘는 가만히
Overseers?
있어.
Would I dare challenge them and risk my family's safety? Or losing Federa?
Who's this Federa you mentioned?
She is another diviner.
제일 OS
One of our
업데이트가 최신인가 본데,
We
그 친구가?
used to be rivals at the academy. I hated her guts. But apparently there's a fine line between hate and love. We became very close, and then I was assigned to the expedition. She promised she'd wait for me, no matter how long it took.
Well, that was smart of her. she won't do any better.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I do.
되게 쑥스러워해.
The rest of us should be enough of a distraction to the Zeniths for you to hack into their network undetected. But you'll have to be quick in case they
얘가
do.
해킹하는데 뭔가 오류가
What
생겨가지고
exactly do you
보통 막
expect me to
영화나 이런
find,
데서
Aloy?
그렇잖아요.
I
잠깐
don't know.
조금 시간이 걸려 이러는데 이제
The truth.
포탈로가 어그로를
if we're lucky.
끌어주면서 누군가 희생이 생길 것 같아.
I need to get going.
I'll be at the
저만의
rendezvous
시나리오
point.
각이고.
May truth lead us to victory.
아주 불안불안하고 사일런스.
Aloy. Something else?
또라니. 너는 갱신되는 게 없네. 준비나 해 그럼.
I'll be going.
As you wish.
느낌표가 있었던 것 같은데 아닌가? 갑자기 사일런스랑 이라고 얘기하고 나니까 기지라는 위치 각인이 새로 나왔고 얘기 선택이 저게 안 없어지는 걸 봐서 네갈라랑도 얘기를 해야겠네. 내가 정태 네갈라랑도 너무 통수를 안 쳐야 한다. 네갈라 칼 좀 그만 깔아라.
What now?
얘도 없는데?
What happened when the Karja messenger appeared before Hikara?
다 얘기했는데 느낌표가
I'm
나오네.
so with a dick.
Are you really? I know. Really?
So
그러니까
I need to.
yes.
근데 괜히 느낌표 띄우고 있네. 이미 다 얘기한 건데. 그러면 누구 남았죠? 코탈로. 코탈로랑 얘기하면 끝이려나? 이게 또 버그가 있어요.
Welcome back, Aloy.
너도 얘기 다 끝났을 것 같은데? 아닌가?
Would you like to continue our chat?
아니, 얘도 없어요.
I should be going.
I'll be making final preparations.
페이크 치지 마라. 페이크 치지 말고 포탈로가 여기다. 찐 동료들은 오랫동안 함께한 동료들은 뭔가 파생되는 게 있는데 네, 신참들은 페이크 치네.
But it doesn't matter. All that remains is to follow you to the end. Whatever that will be.
얘 죽을 것 같아.
Thank you, Kotallo.
지금 이 대사도 좀 그래요.
I'm glad all this brought us together.
You brought us together. And I am grateful too. Oh, and by the way, I was hoping now would be a good time to go back to the Tremortusk site and test my new arm before we leave on our mission.
Right.
트레머터스크 또 한다고?
I'll let you know when I can make my way there.
그만하자.
Thank you.
내가 잡게. 그럼 이 녀석 트레머터스크랑 싸우다가 죽을 것 같은데? 나중에 이 지금 파생되는 퀘스트가 아니라 트레머터스크 나오는 거 아니야? 자꾸 트레머터스크랑 연습하는
Varl's
거니까?
bravery would have earned him sacred burial at the Grove, among the most distinguished of our tribe's warriors. His deeds were worthy of the Ten. When the fight is done, I will have the Inkers etch his memory on my skin, so that it may live on.
제발 안 죽고 바로에 총 운신을 새기도록 하라고.
Now that training time is over, what's on your mind?
The Bulwark, the Kulrut, and how we need another miracle if we're to survive the Zenith base.
I'll try not to let you down.
I know you will not.
I'll see you soon then.
It will be my honor.
자, 그럼 동료들과 대화는 끝이 났고 뭔데 또 얘기를 하는 거야? 특이점 말고. 특이점이 메인 키거든요? 포탈로 그건 없는 것 같은데? 포탈로 그냥 하는 얘기인 거지? 일단 그 퀘스트가 이어지는 곳은 이쪽 모닥불이고 여기 그 우리 에어비앤비 근처 거구나. 아닌가? 이제 여기서 그 친구는 파밍 못하는 건가? 다른 데인가? 아무튼 이쪽에 숨겨진 이 구름 쪽인 것 같습니다. 하고 나면 끝나는 것 같고 이거는 격투장 끝났는데 대화를 하라고 그러네? 이거 남았나? 이거 혹시나 와봤는데 바르리랑도 느낌표가 떴네요.
Chill air's
미리 나눈 게
Hey,
있나?
It's almost time to sneak into the Zenith base. Rescue Beta and Gaia. I don't know how it's gonna go. I really wish you could be there. To help. Well, this is so long.